Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're tackling something that's a real game changer in English testing, the Duolingo English Test. Now, if you've ever had to prove your English skills for school or a job, you know the drill and the stress. The traditional way can be a massive headache. So we're going to break down this totally new approach, step by step. So does this ring a bell? You spend weeks, maybe even months, buried in books. Then you've got to scramble to find a testing center, which is never close by, right? You pay a ton of money, and then you wait and wait and wait for your results. The whole thing is just packed with stress and uncertainty. Well, this is exactly where the Duolingo English Tests, or the DET as we'll call it, steps in. It was literally designed to tackle all those problems head on. You can take it at home, it costs way less, and you get your results super fast. Okay, let's talk numbers for a second. The test is just 59 bucks. I mean, when you think about the hundreds you could be shelling out for a traditional exam, the difference is huge. And get this, you can send your results to as many schools as you want for free. That's a big deal. And then there's the speed. You get your official, certified results in only 48 hours. Yep, just 2 days. If you're up against a tight application deadline, you know that can be an absolute lifesaver. So you might be wondering, how on earth can it be so fast and still be accurate? Well, the secret sauce is all in its design. Let's peel back the curtain and look at the tech that powers this thing. The magic behind it is that the DET is what's called an adaptive test. And that's not just some fancy jargon, it's a totally different way of measuring your skills. See, instead of giving everyone the same set of questions, this test actually changes and adapts to you as you're taking it. Here's how it works. You answer a question. If you get it right, the next one gets a little bit harder. If you get it wrong, no big deal. The next one gets a little easier. It's this constant back and forth that lets the test zero in on your precise English level super fast. And that's how the whole scored part of the test is done in less than an hour. And it figures this out by throwing a bunch of different, really unique, quick questions at you. You're not going to find those long, boring reading passages. Instead, you're always switching gears, from listening to speaking to reading to writing. It's a series of tasks that definitely keep you on your toes. Okay, so you've done the test. How does all of that turn into a final score? And maybe more importantly, what does that number actually mean to the thousands of universities that are now accepting it? Right, so your score is on a scale from 10 to 160. That main number is your overall proficiency, but they also give you subscores that kind of break down your skills in different areas. Now, this chart is super helpful because it shows you how a DET score stacks up against tests you might be more familiar with, like the IELTS or TOEFL. So, for example, if you get a 120 on the DET, that's pretty much the same as a 6.5 on the IELTS. Knowing this stuff is really key to figuring out where you are proficiency-wise. But, schools get more than just a number. The DET also has you do a short video interview and a writing sample. Now, these aren't scored, but they're sent straight to the admissions folks. It gives them a real, authentic peek at your personality and how you communicate, something a simple score could never do. Okay, taking a big, important exam from your own home sounds pretty great, doesn't it? But there's a catch. That convenience comes with some extremely strict security rules, and it's all watched over by AI. And when I say strict, I mean it. These rules are non-negotiable. You have to be alone in a quiet room. Your eyes have to stay on the screen, no phones, no headphones, nobody else in the room, period. You break any of these rules and your test gets thrown out. And that AI proctor, it is so sensitive, it's wild. But a lot of people get their results invalidated just because their eyes wandered for a second. It has nothing to do with their English skills. So what does that mean for you? Your focus has to be 100% locked in. So, this all leads to the million-dollar question, the one everyone wants to know. With all this speed and convenience, is the Duolingo English test just easier? Well, the short answer, from what most people who've taken it say, is no. It's not easier. It's just a completely different kind of hard. Think about it like this. The logistics are way easier, right? No booking hassles, no travel, no waiting. But the test itself? That's a whole other beast. The questions come at you fast, and you can't break your focus for a second. That can actually be more exhausting than a slower, more predictable exam. It's perfect if you're quick on your feet, but if you're someone who likes to take your time and think things through, it can be a real challenge. So at the end of the day, it's a trade-off. On the one hand, the pros are awesome. It's fast, it's affordable, you can do it at home. But the cons are definitely real too. You've got that super strict AI security, not every single school accepts it just yet, and you're at the mercy of your own tech. A bad internet connection could completely derail your test. Plus, you have to get used to some pretty weird question types. And really, the rise of the DET makes you think about the bigger picture. This is a huge shift towards a new kind of testing, on demand, accessible, and driven by technology. So the question we're left with isn't just about one English test. It's about the whole future of how we prove what we know in this digital world.